Good morning, dear friends. How are you all? Yeah, I'm also fine. So, dear friends, starting with the new chapter that is language of chemistry, we have seen initially in the first videos that I have sent you the chemical symbol, the rules for writing the chemical symbol, isn't it? Then some of the names or some of the symbols are derived from their Latin names. So we have seen these symbols, so like gold AU, lead PB. So some of the symbols are derived from their Latin names. Then we have also seen the concept of valency. The concept of valency, that is the combining capacity of atom of an element. Especially metals, they have 1, 2, and 3 electrons in their last shell. That is the valence shell. Metals have 1, 2, or 3 electrons in their last shell or valence shell. We have seen this concept in grade 7th in the chapter metals and non-metals also. So the valency of metals is nothing but the number of electrons present in the outermost shell or the valence shell. So for example, sodium, the atomic number is 11, the electronic configuration is 281. So how many electrons are there in the last orbit or last shell? One electron. And so the valency of sodium is 1. For calcium, atomic number is 20. Therefore, the electronic configuration is 2882. So 2 electrons in the outermost shell. So the valency is 2. In the similar way, aluminium has 3 electrons in the outermost shell. And so the valency of aluminium is 3. So the valency of aluminium is 3. That means metals have 1, 2, or 3 electrons in the outermost shell, and their valency can be 1 or 2 or 3 depending on the number of electrons in their valence shell or the outermost shell. Similarly, nonmetals have 5, 6, or 7 electrons in their valence shell, and therefore their valency is 8 minus number of electrons in their last shell or valence shell. I repeat it, valency of nonmetals is 8 minus number of electrons in their valence shell or outermost shell. For nitrogen, 7. How many electrons nitrogen has? 7. The distribution is 2, 5. So the valency will be 8 minus 5, that is equal to 3. Oxygen, atomic number is 8. 2, 6 is the electronic configuration. So the valency is 8 minus 6, that is equal to 2. Chlorine, 17. 2, 8, 7. 7 electrons in their outermost shell or the valence shell. So valency is 8 minus 7, that is equal to 1. That means your nonmetals have 1, 2, or 3 as the valency. 1, 2, or 3 as the valency. So depending on the valency, your elements can be monovalent, divalent, and trivalent. Monovalent, the elements which have valency 1. Elements which have valency 1. So when they have valency 1, the charge present on them is plus 1 or minus 1. Plus 1 or minus 1. So hydrogen, chlorine, iodine, sodium, potassium all have valency 1, that is combining capacity is 1. So you can see over here hydrogen combines with only one chlorine atom. Hydrogen is combining with only one chlorine atom. Similarly, chlorine, it is monovalent, so it will combine with only one hydrogen atom. Iodine, the valency is 1. Sodium, the combining capacity or valency is 1. So sodium also combines with only one chlorine. Potassium, the valency is 1. So potassium also combines with only one chlorine atom. And as you have seen, chlorine, the valency is 1. Chlorine also combines with one potassium atom. Next one is the divalent. The elements which have valency 2 are called as divalent elements. Example, oxygen. So divalent means it will combine with two other atoms. So see this oxygen combining with two hydrogen, combining with two halogens, two hydrogens. So it means this oxygen is divalent. And we have seen monovalent hydrogen. Hydrogen is monovalent. That means it combines with only one another atom. So we can see over here, hydrogen combining with only one oxygen. Hydrogen combining with only one oxygen. Next one is your sulfur, magnesium, calcium, zinc. All are divalent. See this calcium combining with two chlorine atoms, so it is divalent, and chlorine is monovalent. So chlorine combines with only one calcium. Trivalent. Elements which show valency 3 are called as the trivalent element. Example, nitrogen. You can see nitrogen forming 3 bonds. The combining capacity is 3. And hydrogen over here. Monovalent, combining with only one nitrogen. Each hydrogen is combining with only one nitrogen. So hydrogen is monovalent. Similarly, boron and aluminium. Aluminium, AlCl3, AlCl3, trivalent. Tetravalent, elements which have valency 4 are tetravalent. Example, carbon. You can see carbon forms 4 bonds. So this carbon is forming 4 bonds, or it is combining with 4 other atoms, and hydrogen is monovalent. Each hydrogen combines with one carbon only. Similarly, silicon also has valency 4. Variable valency. Some elements show variable valency. So, example, iron shows valency 2 and valency 3. So, when the valency of iron is 2, it is called as ferrous chloride. So, valency is 2, it combines with 2 chlorine, FeCl2. And when the valency is 3, it is called as ferric chloride, FeCl3. So, OUS is added for lower valency and IC is added for higher valency in the name. Let us see few elements with the variable valency. Copper shows valency 1 and 2. Iron shows valency 2 and 3. Lead shows valency 2 and 4. These are few elements listed over here with variable valency. Now, coming towards your ions and radicals. Up till here, we have also seen this part in the videos also that I have just sent you. Now starting with the ions. So what are ions? When atom or group of atoms, when they lose or gain electron, they form the ions. Atoms or group of atoms, when they lose or gain electrons, they form the ions. And we have seen that ions or your radicals are of two types, cations and anions. Cations, the ions which are formed by loss of electrons are called as the cations. Cations carry positive charge. Mostly metals have 1, 2, and 3 electrons. They lose these 1, 2, and 3 electrons to become stable, and therefore metals form cations. Metals form cations. Example, Na plus, K plus, etc. These cations are also called as the basic radical. Cations are also called as the basic radical. So we can also define a basic radical as a basic radical is formed by removal of hydroxyl group, that is OH group, from the base like NaOH. Base like NaOH. So from the base like NaOH, when I remove this OH minus, so what will remain is Na plus. So Na plus is a base, K plus. So these are all basic radicals. They should be K plus, dear friends. So these are few basic radicals or basic ions. Anions. Non-metals have 5, 6, and 7 electrons. So they will gain 1, 2, or 3 electrons and form the negative ions. So the negative ions formed by gain of electrons are called as the anions. Mostly non-metals which have 5, 6, and 7 electrons gain 1, 2, and 3 electrons and form the negatively charged ions called as the anions. And anions are also called as the acidic radicals. Okay, acidic radicals are formed by the removal of hydrogen ion from the acid like HCl. So when I remove this H plus ion, what will remain is Cl minus. So Cl minus, Br minus, all these are the acidic radicals. All these are the acidic radicals. Polyatomic ions. Ions which have more than one atom are called as the polyatomic ions, or a group of atom when it carries charge is called as a polyatomic ion. Example, SO4 minus minus, NH4 plus, etc. These are few polyatomic ions in front of you. Nitrite, NO2 minus. So the charge -1. So the valence is -1. So it forms NaNO2. Valence is 1. So this nitrite will combine with one another group. Nitrite will combine with one another group. So this nitrite is negatively charged. So it will combine with one sodium. And you know sodium is monovalent. It will combine with one another group or atom. So these are few polyatomic ions with their charges and the respective compounds. So sulfate SO4 minus minus, two negative charges. So the valence is 2. So it will combine with two sodium atoms, Na2SO4. And over here this Na2SO4, each sodium atom combines with one sulfate group. Each sodium atom combines with one sulfate group. Now chemical formula of a compound. Chemical formula of a compound is representation of a molecule of a compound. Representation of a molecule of a compound. Let us see one compound as ammonia. So it is represented as NH3. The formula is NH3. So this is called as the chemical formula. And what do we come to know from this chemical formula? That it is made up of one atom of nitrogen. So one atom of nitrogen is here and three atoms of hydrogen and three atoms of hydrogen. This information we get from the chemical formula, that how many atoms are present in the given compound of each element. To get this important information. How to derive the chemical formula? So to derive the chemical formula, last year also we have seen the 5-step method. So let us see the step-by-step procedure to derive the chemical formula of iron 3 hydroxide. Here 3 is nothing but the valency that we have to use, because iron shows variable valency as 2 also and 3 also. So dear friends, yeah, we are going to use the valency 3. Yes, everyone of grade 8, A, B, C, D. Yeah, very nice. So we are going to use the valency 3 over here. So the symbols are iron, Fe plus 3. Plus 3. Why? Because the valency is 3 given in the bracket. And hydroxide is OH minus. OH minus. So write the valencies below them. Plus 3, minus 1. Third step, interchange the valency. So Fe corresponds to minus 1, that is 1. So Fe 1 and OH corresponds to 3. So OH 3. Is it divisible? 1 and 3? No, not divisible. So the formula is FeOH thrice. That means, see this, iron, the valence is 3. So it is combining with 3 hydroxides. 3 hydroxides. So FeOH thrice. Or this is also a simple way. Write the symbol, remember the charge and cross it. Try to use the 5-step methods, everyone, as we have seen it. The second example for you now, calcium hydroxide. Yes, go through it. Good. Try to derive the formula by your own. Write the symbols. Now interchange the valency. Is it divisible? Very good, not divisible. And so the formula is CaOH twice. Very good. Next one, sodium oxide. Sodium oxide. Chalo, solve it on your own now. Yes, go by the step-by-step process. Sodium monovalent, that is +1 charge. Oxygen divalent, O minus minus. Very good. Let's go towards the next problem. Solve it. Very good. SO4 minus minus. So the valence is -2. So the formula is Na2SO4, sodium sulfate. Sodium phosphate. Very good. PO4 3 minus. PO4 3 minus. Very good. I'm proud of you. Good. Really very smart work. Good one, students. Good. Keep it up. So the formula is Na3 PO4, sodium phosphate. Excellent. So tell me, from this formula, what do we come to know? We come to know that sodium phosphate consists of 3 atoms of sodium, 1 atom of phosphorus, and 4 atoms of oxygen. Very good. Sodium sulfate, Na2SO4. Very good. Now, chemical equation. How to write a chemical equation? So there are certain rules. There are certain rules for writing the chemical equation on page number 81. So what are the rules? The reactants are written on the left hand side. The products are written on the right hand side of a chemical equation. What's the chemical equation? Yes, whenever a chemical change takes place, it is written by using the symbols and formula. The representation of a chemical change by using symbols and formulas is known as a chemical equation. And what are the rules? The first one, the reactants are written on the left hand side and the products are written on the right hand side. Both of them are separated by a arrow. Arrow always point towards the product. Arrow always point towards the product. Is it clear? Very good. Good. Second rule, the conditions of the reactions are written on the top of the arrow. Suppose heat, so the temperature is written as suppose 120 degrees Celsius, or the pressure if required is written on the arrow. Is it clear? Then also we need to balance the reaction. So balancing the equation. So dear friends, all these rules are not given. I'll just try to touch these rules for you so it will be easy. So balancing the equation is done by the atomic theory and the law of conservation of mass. So applying the atomic theory, firstly we are going to see. So as per this theory, atoms do not change in a chemical reaction, but they only rearrange themselves by transferring or sharing electrons and form new compounds. They do not change, but they only rearrange themselves from here to here, okay, by sharing or transferring of the electrons and form the new compounds. So the number of atoms before and after the reactions remains the same. That means the number of atoms on the LHS and RHS remains the same. Number of atoms on the left hand side and the right hand side remains the same. Very good. So what is a balanced chemical equation? Balanced chemical equation is the one in which the number of atoms of each element is same on both the sides of the reactant and the product. The number of atoms is same. Okay. By balancing the equation, what we will know? We will come to know that the law of conservation of mass as it relates to the chemical change of substance. We will know the law of conservation of mass and we will be able to write the balanced chemical equation. So what are the different steps? Firstly, write the unbalanced equation with the help of symbols and formulas for the reactant and product. Write down the symbols and formulas of the reactants involved and the products formed. Now see that you draw a table below it to write down the number of reactants and products, or the number of atoms of the reactants and products which are involved. Then write suitable coefficient, that is the numbers, before the chemical formula to indicate how many units of each substance are required to balance the equation. I'll just show this to you now. Let's move ahead. I'll show it to you. Then also we need to reduce the coefficient to their smallest whole number values by dividing them by a common divisor. Let us see with an example. Now see here, these numbers, this is called as the coefficient. And for balancing the chemical equation, you can only change the coefficient. You cannot change the subscript. This is the subscript. You cannot change the subscript, because if I change the subscript, if I make H4O, this is not water. So you cannot change the subscript, because by changing the subscript, you are going to change the molecule. You cannot change the molecule, but you can change the number of molecules. That is, you can change the coefficient. I can make this 4, 5, 1, 2 as per the number required for balancing the reaction. Very good, dear friends. Good. So this is called as the coefficient. Tell me now, can we change the coefficient? Can we change? Yes. To balance the reaction, we can change the coefficient as 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Can we change the subscript? Can we? No. We cannot change the subscript because by changing the subscript, we are going to change the molecule and we cannot change the molecule. Then polyatomic ions, they should be considered as a whole unit. So this SO4 during balancing, we should consider it as a one unit, SO4 1, or how much you require, 2 SO4, 3 SO4. Do not consider S as a separate, oxygen as a separate. Then balance the oxygen and hydrogen whichever is present in the combined state. Firstly, hydrogen and oxygen which is present in the combined state has to be balanced first, like OH minus, isn't it? But oxygen and hydrogen separate can be balanced at the last. By doing these things, see that the reaction is balanced. Okay, and see that you take it to the lowest coefficient. As I said, I'll give you the example. So suppose balancing twice H2 plus O2 is twice H2O. This is one way. Or you can also write down 4H2 plus twice O2 as 4H2O. But see here, the coefficient are not to their smallest number. So divide them. So the smallest number, and after balancing it will be this one. It will be this one. Twice H2 plus O2 gives twice H2O. So it must be to their lowest terms. Okay, so this will be the lowest term, the first equation. Very good, dear friends. Good. And now finally check that your reaction is balanced. Okay, so this is your coefficient, this is your subscript. Changing the subscript changes your compound. You cannot change the compound, you just have to change the number. You just have to change the number. Very good. So firstly, while balancing, try to balance the metals first, then the non-metals, then the hydrogen, then the oxygen. Okay. And if oxygen doesn't balance, try to double all the coefficients. All the coefficients of metals, non-metals, hydrogen, oxygen, everything, if oxygen doesn't balance. Let us see few examples of balancing the chemical reactions. Let us see a few examples of balancing the chemical reaction. So, reaction between nitrogen and hydrogen. So this is a hydrogen. Hydrogen is diatomic, always H2. Always H2. Nitrogen is also diatomic, always N2, forms ammonia. So let us balance this. So as I said, keep a table below it. So let us write down the number of reactants and number of products. So see here, hydrogen, 2 atoms initially. So I have written it over here, hydrogen 2 atoms. Okay, nitrogen 2 atoms. I have written this over here, nitrogen 2 atoms. In the product side, nitrogen is 1, and hydrogen are 3. Hydrogen are 3. So hydrogen are 3. So let us see, 2 hydrogens, 3 hydrogens, 2 nitrogen, 1 nitrogen, isn't it? So firstly, try to balance the metal. Metal is not there. So try to balance the non-metal. So we'll balance the nitrogen. Nitrogen 2. On the product side, nitrogen is 1. So what I do, I write 2 as a coefficient. So over here, I'm going to write 2. Before nitrogen, I'm going to write 2. And if I write 2, so see here, I have written 2. So what it becomes? 2 is multiplied to complete NH3, to complete NH3. So it becomes 2 into NH3. So 2 molecules of NH3. So 2 into 1 nitrogen, that is equal to 2. 2 into 1 atom of nitrogen, that is equal to 2. And hydrogen becomes 2 into 3. 2 into 3, that is 6. 2 into 3, that is 6. So see dear friends, nitrogen 2 atoms balanced, but hydrogen, now it has become 6. And on this side, we are having only 2. So what I have to do, to this hydrogen, I'm going to multiply by 3. So 3 into 2, 6. So hydrogen also becomes 6. So everything is balanced. LHS is equal to RHS, and finally you have to write down this balanced reaction. Just go through the reaction, everyone. Very good. Next problem. Hydrogen and chlorine to form hydrogen chloride. Hydrogen is always H2, chlorine is always Cl2, forms hydrogen chloride, that is HCl. So the number of atoms are hydrogen 2, chlorine 2, but on the product side, hydrogen is 1 and chlorine is 1. Hydrogen 1 and chlorine 1. So what you have to do is, on the reactant side there are 2, 2. On the product side there is 1, 1. So you have to write down 2, 2. You have to write down 2, 2. So before HCl, I have written 2. Before HCl, I have written 2. And so when I write 2, it becomes 2 hydrogen and 2 chlorine atoms. 2 hydrogen and 2 chlorine atoms. So is our reaction balanced, dear friends? Are there 2 atoms of hydrogen and chlorine on both the sides? Check it. Excellent. Good job. Electrolysis of water. Yes. This is for your homework. Now you can try to solve now itself in your chemistry notebook that you are having. Yes, balance it. This is electrolysis, breaking of water, decomposition of water. Yes, this is for your homework. You have to balance it. So write down the reaction. H2O gives H2 plus O2 and balance it. Yeah, let's move towards the next one. Zinc nitrate plus sodium carbonate forms sodium nitrate plus zinc carbonate. So dear friends, this nitrate polyatomic ion. How many times is this nitrate? 2 times. So on the product side also, this should be 2 times this nitrate. Consider it as a single unit. I said polyatomic ions, they have to be considered as a single unit, always as a single unit. Is it clear? So this nitrate is 2 times. Here also in the product side, it should be 2 times. It should be 2 times. This carbonate, CO3 minus minus. Okay, so it is 1 unit. So on the product side also, it should be 1 unit. So what does our rule says? Balance the metals first, then the non-metals, isn't it? Then hydrogen, then oxygen. So see the metals, zinc, on this side 1, on this side also 1. So zinc is balanced. Then sodium is a metal. This side 2 sodium atoms, here only 1 sodium atom. So here I need to write down 2. Coefficient will be 2. I cannot write Na2. Why? Because it will change the molecule. So over here, if I write 2, so this 2 will be multiplied to this sodium also, and 2 will be multiplied to this nitrate group also, polyatomic ion. 2 will be multiplied to this NO2 also. So there will be 2 NO2 groups. Are there 2 NO2 groups on the reactant side? Yes. So it will be balanced. It will be balanced. So I have to write down 2 over here. Carbonate is 1. Carbonate is 1. So the rest part is balanced. Only I have to write down 2 over here. So in this way, we can also balance the polyatomic ions. So dear friends, it was for you all. In the next lecture, we will complete this chapter, the remaining part, that is balancing the reaction by applying law of conservation of mass and the conditions of reaction. That part we are going to see. Okay, friends. So this was all for today. Take care, everyone. I have given the assignment also and Google test. Assignment, you need to solve it in a notebook. If you have a doubt, I'm going to send the answer key of the assignment at the end of the day. Okay, so let us move ahead, dear friends. I wish you all the best. See that you stay home and take care of yourselves. Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much.